Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Christina Langell. With me today is Pennsylvania editor Kristen Smith. And today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump and his alma mater, UPenn. So basically, we've heard that funding will be frozen towards UPenn because of their policies on transgender athletes in sports. Can you elaborate?
To the tune of $175 million. The Trump administration says that they're just going to freeze this funding. There's been no other guidance since then. So UPenn has come out and said, yeah, we heard publicly that they said this, but we haven't gotten any official directive. So they don't know exactly what it means and how they can resolve the situation. They follow whatever the NCAA tells them to do. And so this is more of a NCAA concern in that respect. And this stems back to 2022 when I think everybody who is aware of this issue knows of Lia Thomas, who was the transgender swimmer for UPenn that won several championship titles and was very much the public face of transgender athletes at the time. Notably, Donald Trump was not the president when this was happening, but along the campaign trail, he said over and over and over that he would ban men in women's sports. And when he says that, he means transgender women. So this is basically him delivering on that campaign promise. And in fact, he said on Twitter, promises made, promises kept. So that's really where this is coming from. And it's coming across sort of, I think he's making an example out of UPenn here and letting everyone know that he is 100% serious about freezing this funding.
So are they currently in violation, or this is all retroactive to what was happening back in 2022?
It appears to be retroactive, again, because the university has not been given any official order about this. There are less than 10 or less transgender athletes in the NCAA, according to the organization itself, and there's 500
in the whole system.
Yeah, and there's 500,000 athletes. So it's a very small percentage, and there's not any at the University of Pennsylvania currently. So theoretically speaking, they wouldn't be allowing transgender women to participate in women's sports right now because they don't have any. Though if the NCAA policy is such that that was allowed, then I suppose that they would be in violation of Trump's executive order, which would ban men in women's sports. And so that's kind of where we're at with it. Again, it's a very symbolic move right now, and he's the president. He can freeze the funding with the swipe of a pen. So that's what he said he's going to do. But we haven't, it's fresh news, and we still aren't sure exactly how this is going to work, how they can fix it. And to be clear, University of Pennsylvania is a Ivy League school. So they're not hurting for money. It's not like this is going to close their doors. It's just going to be more of a talking point for the Trump administration more than anything.
What kind of backlash have we seen so far from this, and what has Penn said?
Notably, I think the most interesting and important backlash as far as this goes is from some of Lia Thomas's former team members. There's 3 women who have filed a lawsuit against the university and the NCAA saying that allowing Thomas to participate in their teams was in violation of Title IX, and that it infringed upon their rights, that they were made very uncomfortable by the fact that Thomas was allowed to use the same dressing rooms as them, and that they were made to feel as if they were anti-LGBT if they opposed him using their locker rooms. So, and this sentiment has been amplified by other advocacy groups that have really gone around the country advocating for a change in laws at the state level to prevent or to make policies that don't allow transgender athletes to compete in the case of Thomas in women's sports. And so that is a big element of this debate that has cropped up since 2022. One of the faces of this movement is Riley Gaines. She was a swimmer from Kentucky who tied for 5th place with Thomas in one of the races back in 2022. There's a pretty well-known picture of her standing in the frame with her as she towers over. And it's kind of become this image as far as those who are opposed to men and women's sports, this image that explains it all, quite frankly. And so their argument, though, is that Trump is right, that there are biological differences between men and women that don't go away just because somebody identifies as transgender. And all of those legal challenges are still pending. But for now, Trump's in charge. So this is the stance that he's taking.
Thank you, Kristen. That's it for today from Pennsylvania in Focus. And keep tuning in and we'll keep up on this story. Thank you.